So, welcome to the Grown Up Group. This is a podcast of regular people tackling the world from a Black perspective. Welcome back, guys. So we're up and running again. Here we are. We've been very busy during the fall seasons and winter has led us here. So it is December 2024. We're going to do a recap on what has happened in 2024 and how it has affected us. So we have our topics and how we would actually like to approach these items. We have it broken down as entertainment as well as politics and then our current events that just life has been happening. So let's delve into this. Welcome, Kira and Joe. Welcome,
Good to
Joe.
be
And
back.
of
Good to be
course,
back.
that's right. And I'm Ty. So, hey, everybody. So, we're going to delve into this. The first topic we have is Katt Williams. I mean, I feel like he was the top person that kicked it off in January 2024. He kicked in the
hmm
door with some truths. What are you guys' thoughts on Katt Williams?
I'm not surprised because when you think about it, people always say, "Yo, how come we're not seeing Cat Williams in everything, on everything?" And it's because people like him who aren't afraid to speak the truth are feared
Mhm.
in that industry,
Yes. Very
and they
true.
get kind of blackballed.
Mhm.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why everything he said, I knew it was facts.
Yeah, I
I knew
agree.
Eh,
because he knows. He
Yeah.
knows.
Kira.
Right. I mean, he came in the year with a boom, with a bang, and the way he came in, I'm like kind of excited about next year. Like who going to top him next year? Like,
Oh,
but I don't know if it's in it. But like Joe said, everything he was saying is facts. It's been said for years, and people just ignored it and things like that. So I'm glad he put it out there so a lot of people can see because I mean, like we really thought putting on a dress and acting like this way and that way, like it was so funny and hilarious. But the way he broke it down, it was like, oh, mm, okay, all right,
You
I
know,
know that's right.
The only thing I had to say about coming from 2024 and Cat Williams' comments, on the actors and comedians that, he was speaking on, I felt it was very matter of factual, truthful to some degree, because a lot of them did make some changes to their life that wasn't their norm. But we see that happen all the time in Hollywood. So to me, Hollyweird, I should say, because that's how they are. They conform to what, is popular or what is trending. So to hear them saying, he was, proposed to put on a dress and do to make it and show himself and prove himself to climb the ranks a little faster. It's kind of crazy. It's nothing new that I heard that I didn't doubt it when I heard it. I should say that.
Right.
There was
oh,
no doubt in my
absolutely.
mind that it wasn't true. I just was disappointed that it has hit the Black community more than what I felt it needed to. I always feel that, as Black people, we always should be like much stronger and take a stronger stance than what we do. Some people just want to fall in line and just do what, follow the crowd. And I actually take pride when we don't do that. I take pride when we are saying, well, I'm opposed to this because we ask the questions of who, what, where, when, and why. That's my only thoughts on the Cat William thing. I was just disappointed in the actors because once he brought it out, I was like, oh my God, I never saw that movie when he was dressed up like that. I never seen that show because you don't pay attention, or I wasn't paying attention to those things. But when he said it, I was like, man, there's so much facts here. Like it's kind of scary. Even the whole Cedric Entertainer comedian or comedy act that he did, that was shocking to me to hear,
Right.
him speak on that so heavily. I was just a little thrown back. I was like, oh, he did do his routine. He just gave a different format of what the
Right.
subject was, but he still did the whole line by line response. I was a little, whoo, you hear me? I was
Yeah,
like,
the same.
wow.
I also went back and looked and I said the same, like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, it's crazy how much the wool can be pulled over your eyes when you don't pay attention.
Right.
It's like crazy. But
Right.
even with Kevin Hart, I do see that he is really have climbed the ranks and the ladder. He started small, in the comedy sector and doing a lot of stand up. He made his way. I applaud him for making his way, although as well as the other comedians as well. But I just wish they did it with more like with their pride and dignity and the
Yeah.
things that they had to subject themselves to. Just I wish they didn't have to. I wish that the world gave us a fair chance to make it. And I kind of get so with the stride and the whole pride of, who we are, accept us for who we are type of
Right.
conversation.
Right.
Then I'll also go ahead. So I'm sorry, Kira. You want to add
Oh,
something
no,
to
no, no.
that?
No, I was just gonna say, I hope when he did this segment for the future, actors and actresses that they would take heed to that, and you won't let anyone belittle you just to make a couple of dollars.
Yeah.
And then get talked about in the beginning of the year.
Yeah. What a kickoff to January, right?
Right.
I thought 2023 was rough, and then we went into 2024 with that as an opener. And I was like, holy
Right.
cannoli. Like we was not ready. We was not ready, Kat. Thank you for the introduction, but let's get to that, you know. He
Right.
was open, and I appreciate his honesty because I give him credit. He was honest when other
Right.
people felt they could not be. But I saw he was also sipping that drink, and you know what drink give us? That give us that liquid
Oh
courage.
boy.
Yeah.
Listen, you know what they say, a drunk mouth speaks a sober mind.
So,
Yes, it does. That is so
Yes.
true.
And
Yes.
Cat let it be known.
Yes, he
yeah.
did. He did not hold back.
That was the best
Shannon
Shay
told
Shay
me to
interview
go
I've ever
down
It
seen.
on
is.
And Shannon know what he's doing too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
I
another
applaud
reason why I
him.
love this podcast.
Yes,
You know
I
what I
applaud him
mean?
for that.
And he basically tells people, listen, if you're gonna come on here, we're gonna talk. We're not gonna discuss, we're gonna talk.
Yes,
We're
we're
going
gonna
to
get to the knit of things. Yes.
And Kat came up there like, no problem, let's talk. What you want to know?
Yeah, I left Sharon out of the actual conversation, but I do want to applaud him because he has so
Mm-hmm.
many talented actors, singers, entertainers on his podcast that this is our first time really hearing them speak. So he gave them his platform to actually have a voice, and I appreciate that. I got to give a shout out to Sharon Sharp for that because that is definitely something I applaud in our Black community. I also want to touch on our next subject. Beyonce country album that did kick
Oh
off in
yeah.
January as well. I know we
Mm-hmm.
had our opinions on it. I got to tell you, I listened to it with a heavy, opinion because I'm a Beyonce fan. So, part of the
Mm-hmm.
beehive, I'm always swarming. I'm like, soon as a new album drop, I'm the first one to pop it in. Gotta download it, even if it's two songs available to me. Still want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get a jump on that singing, but I was a little disappointed about her ballads. I don't feel that she had as many soulful ballads on it. That was my only disappointment about it. But when I speak about Beyonce's country album, I'm like, what did I expect? It was a country album. I don't
Yeah.
listen to country music. I'm not a country music fan, but it did make me listen and say, why did she delve into this? When you good at one thing, I always say stick to your one thing. But why do we
right.
why do we not want to broaden her, sector if she has the range to do so? It just wasn't for me. I heard it, but it just wasn't for me. But I know a lot of people that loved it and gave it its applause. And don't limit yourself, But what are your thoughts on it, Kira?
She won an award for it. I'm the same way. I wasn't into the country thing, and like you said, I'm used to her other music. I'm
Hmm.
used to all of that. So once she made the country, I kind of was skeptical about it also. I'm like, let's see how she gonna pull this off because the other lady, she went country also. What's the other lady name? She went from R&B singer to country also, Kim
Okay,
Michelle.
Michelle. Okay,
And I
Michelle.
heard that I heard hers is nice or whatever, but it was just like Beyonce going country. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could. I heard a couple of songs and I wasn't into it.
Yeah. Well, because like I said, a lot of people saw it as just her, saying, and again, this is not me, but this is how it was foreseen. Because again, you're going to get into country music, you got to deal with country music fans, people that are passionate about
Right,
this music. Okay.
right,
And not for nothing, most people who listen to her other stuff, they're not into country music, but they'll get into it because it's her.
Yeah.
But to a lot of country music fans, they saw it as her saying, I'm going to just get this a shot because I can. You know what I mean?
right.
Because I'm
Mhm.
Beyonce. And that's what I was talking about earlier. You can't do that. Okay. It's not like pop or R&B. You can't just delve into country music like that because, like I was saying earlier, she didn't really. I don't want to say get the okay, but she didn't take the right approach. Like for instance, the majority of the album was recorded in L.A. and New York and other places. She did. I think she did a couple of tracks. And there's two studios in what I was telling you guys about Music City. One is called The Cave, and the other one is called The Library. Okay. And she recorded a couple of tracks at those studios, which was seen by many as just like a token gesture.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
know
what
what I
it
mean?
was.
And so
Yeah.
when you do things like that, and like if you go to Nashville, Broadway is the main strip in Nashville.
Mhm.
And on Broadway, there's nothing but like honky tonk bars, restaurants, and boot and hat shops. Okay. Like I'm talking about a good 10 block stretch of nothing but bars. I'm talking about like 6 or 7 bars on every block. So,
Wow.
and in
So
every single one of these places, there's a live band.
Mm.
Every single one. Okay. And when you go in there, you listen to these bands and you're like, how the hell are you this good? And I never heard of you. Okay. So that goes to show you the scope of how deep, because you'll go to one bar, you'll see a lead singer, a guitarist, and a drummer. Then you go to the next bar, you'll see that same guitarist, but with a different lead singer and a different drummer. And that's how they do it.
mhm.
Wow. That's
You know what I
crazy.
mean? And that's like, and and that's and their biggest dream. And I talked to a few of them. I'm like, how long you been doing this? And they'll say, oh, I've been here 10 years. And 10 years, you're still performing at bars. Well, why are
Yeah.
you still doing bars? I mean, you're good. Well, I can't get a session in Music City. So that's how
Mhm.
passionate and how competitive and how good you got to be to get in there. And a lot of people felt she just used her name and her clout just to push
Right,
that. And that's
Didn't
why it
fight
wasn't well
for it. She didn't
received.
try to like start small and then grow big. And
right,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
she kind
right.
of
And
like
that's
jumped,
why
cheat a
she
little
just
bit.
jumped in using her
Yeah,
name.
cheat a little bit.
And
When
that's
the
why
storm
it's
is
not well received.
right. Oh,
And that's why and I get and that's my opinion. Like I said, I've been there like 6 times. I love going to the place. And when you go there, you kind of get to see like, wow, you guys are really passionate about this music.
Yeah.
And that's why. And I get it why she wasn't well received by the CMAs or the American Country Music Awards. I understand it. And
Right.
honestly, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I
right.
I
don't blame them.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
But you know, the one
And
thing I do want to say with to that real quick, I'm sorry, Kira. The
oh
one
no,
thing that I do want to say to that is like, it surprised me that not everybody swarmed to it and was like, yes, applause. Because even I was hesitant because I'm like, what is she doing? Like, she don't
Yeah.
belong here.
right,
She don't belong there. And you said it, you don't take your name and just be like, okay, you can't do that in a job, a regular day-to-day job. So you definitely can't do that, in, this entertainment world that we live in, because everybody's not going to be great at everything, but she wanted to prove that she could be great at everything, and it just wasn't received well. I wonder if she'll do it again. I wonder if what's the
right,
next thing that she'll try to jump in genre or music or whatever. Because I even like you have other artists that will Drake. I think he made like a whole like club album, and I just was like, why you do this to yourself? Like we don't need Spanish poppy Drake. We don't need that. Like but he
Yeah.
definitely went and
Yeah.
touched it. So they all try different things. So maybe they're
Right.
trying to tie to being one note, but yeah, I just was surprised by her attempt of trying to do that. But yeah, I'm like, who gave her
It's
that
okay to
permission?
do. Yeah, but you got to
Who
do
gave
it the
her
right
permission?
way.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You got to do it the right way.
you got to do it
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
Like I remember back in the day, Madonna, she wanted to do a Spanish album, and she actually had one hit off the album. But
Mm.
what she did was she went to Puerto Rico, she went to Cuba, she went to the Dominican Republic. Like she went to these places,
Yeah.
and she got the soul. Like she wanted to get the heart of the music before she laid down one track.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what you got to do. And a lot of people felt, you know what, Beyonce didn't do that.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
you got 15 producers on your album, and like I was saying, only 2 of them were associated with country music. That was Miley Cyrus, and another producer's name is Sean Everett. And even Sean Everett, he worked with I think 2 country musicians. One of them is a group named Alabama Slam, and there
Oh,
was
wow.
another group I can't think of the name of it. But at the end of the day, it's like they were all just token gestures.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
She just pulled somebody that was in a ranking. She didn't care. She was like,
right,
"Oh, they got 1 or 2 artists. Not everything is country from that
right.
person." So,
Right.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
disservice.
Yeah.
Kira, you had other thoughts on it?
Oh no, the way Joe broke it down, it totally definitely makes so much more sense now. You use your
Yeah.
name, you used your fame and said, okay, I'm gonna make a country record or whatever. And like he said, you didn't study into it. And like you said, the people from Nashville, they can't get a gig and they've been doing it for 10 years. And
Mm.
here it is. You
Yeah.
use your
Here
money,
you
your
come.
name, and
Hmm.
it's like you playing in our face.
Yeah.
Keep. I
Yeah.
always say that. Earn your keep. Like, just don't just sit there and, claim it. You got to kind of
Right.
earn your keep. You got to work your way
Mhm.
to it. But thank you
Mhm.
guys for your thoughts on Beyonce Country album. What do you guys think about the Kendrick and Drake beef? And let's not leave out that lawsuit, because that lawsuit is the last thing that tailed it in December. And I was like, holy crap. So Kendrick and Drake. You want to go, Joe?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not real. I don't really like. I know they've been beefing back and forth. It was the whole thing with Kendrick and Jake, and I mean Drake, and then J. Cole got involved.
Mhm.
And to be totally honest, I always thought it was a lopsided beef. To be honest, I
Mm.
mean, Kendrick Lamar is somebody who's respected. You know what I mean, by even like the old school heads in hip hop, because
Yeah.
a lot of the old
Mhm.
school people feel that him and J. Cole are the only guys that's living up to what hip hop has always been.
Right.
Then you
Yeah.
got Drake coming in with this pop aspect of it. So I don't know. I just always felt it was a lot. I didn't even think it was worthy of it being called the beef, because I don't think Drake holds any water when it comes to trying to get with a dude like Kendrick. That's always been my opinion.
Yeah.
It, yeah,
Yeah.
I wondered what made Drake thought that he was going. What made him be like, okay, let me jump into this beef or
Yeah.
whatever, or however it started. What made him say, all right, let me get a piece of this action because I'm about to body slam all of them.
No, and Kendrick I bet Kendrick got lyrics that he threw in the garbage that'll take Drake out of this whole thing. Like, come on.
That's what I
Exactly.
was gonna say. I don't think Drake went into it as a beef or he was discrediting Kendrick. He actually complimented him. He said, "We're the big
Yeah,
three." And then Kendrick was like, "There's no comparison. I'm somebody. You're a nobody." Because
right,
it's a thing with trendy music versus old school like real music with meaning and what is behind that meaning.
right,
If you want to say the comparison, I'm right there with Joe. Like when you do the comparison with Drake, and Drake does have a category. And I'm not going to say he's not nobody. He's somebody, but he's not. It was, first and foremost, it was Mental Health Awareness Month, and I just was like, not doing not mental health awareness month.
right,
Not doing that. Like, Drake won't go jump off a cliff. And I hope and pray for the brother because I'm like,
right.
man, when he got the whole country singing now, you know. Not
I
doing
can't.
mental health awareness month. Like, like, come on. Like, can't we all just be friends? I feel like Black History Month just ended, and then we went into mental health awareness month. And then he was like, no, F the big three. It's just big me. And it was like a knock. And it was just to me, I was like, well, he was giving Kendrick a compliment because he wasn't saying that he wasn't a part of the big three. He said, well, it's
Right.
me, you, and J. Cole. And then Kendrick heard that and was like, no, it's just me. It's just me.
Yeah,
And
yeah, he did
I
kind
get
of.
it. I get it. Cause I'm like, I don't like to be categorized or put with nobody. Nobody like to be compared to anybody.
Right.
But it's like, don't put me in a spot where I gotta show you now that it's just me. But Kendrick did. He came out with that. But Drake's suing now. So I'm like, he not playing that song at the Super Bowl. And I think that's why his lawsuit is really relevant because he does not want the rest of the country, as well as look how many people view the Super Bowl. Forget TikTok. Look how
Hmm.
many people view the Super Bowl and they're going to be singing that. And
Yeah,
that's like the anthem against anti-Drake. Once it's out
Exactly.
there, whew,
Because I was even like, wait a minute, when the Super Bowl, I was excited for the Super Bowl because I wanted to hear the song. I just wanted to hear the whole crowd going, what.
for Drake,
he's
I
not
though,
just
like
was
us.
wondering
oh, that's
the
going to be a
littlest thing
disaster for
like that,
him.
how that's going panned out
Yeah,
with the whole
yeah,
crowd. But then Drake watching, and I'm just like,
Mental health
yeah. It's
awareness.
it's it's going to be interesting. It's going to be one of the most watched Super Bowl halftime shows
right.
ever.
Yeah, and I'm also curious how he gonna work it in there. Will he bring him out on stage just to be like, "We bros, let's piece this out in
I
front
wouldn't
of the
be
country."
surprised if that happened.
I would
Right.
hope,
I wouldn't be.
I will hope because they do have
Yeah,
music together. That's the
yeah,
crazy part.
Right.
I was like, they do have songs together, so it's like why not just let's all be friends, kumbaya, sing kumbaya, and hold
Right.
hands,
yeah.
Right.
and be like, let's come
I would not
together.
be shocked. Yeah,
I hope.
I
I can
wouldn't be
only
shocked
hope.
if they both came
It's
out
the
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kendrick Lamar thing to do. I mean, he does that.
I don't know, but
it's going to be like I don't know if y'all enough to remember this. It's going to be like when everybody was shocked to see Ice Cube and Dr. Dre's video back in like
Oh
the
yeah.
early '90s. Remember that?
yes,
Yeah.
Remember that beef?
yes,
And then all of a
I
sudden you
do.
see, yeah, Ice Cube pop up, and today was in the Dr. Dre video, everybody was like, "Oh snap,
Yeah,
they,"
Right.
yeah, because they had beef for a second, yeah,
yeah,
especially
it
the
would
end
be
of their
like
career together,
iconic.
NWA,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Right.
Just a little
Yeah.
history for people that don't know NWA,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dre and
Ice
Ice Cube
Cube and the
fell out,
whole,
that whole
yeah.
thing. Yes, it was a whole disaster. You can watch the actual movie. That movie will definitely give you a whole script on that, but yeah, we'll leave that to for you to watch that. Thank you guys
Mhm.
on your comments on Kendrick, Drake, beef, and that lawsuit. Good luck. Good luck, Drake. Good luck,
Yeah,
Kendrick, for both of them. Because I'm like,
we'll see.
the song was strong. And I do want to say just real quick before we move on from that, the marketing genius behind Kendrick removing the copyright infringement so everybody could use it in their videos. And I just was like, it's gonna be everywhere. And it was everywhere.
Yeah.
There
It
Mm-hmm.
was a
is.
for 3-4 months, even today, I could swipe past reels and I guarantee one of his song is gonna come up in somebody's reel. So I don't care if you cutting hair, doing hair, dancing, showing something, knitting. That song was in the background. It's crazy. It was crazy how it dominated social media.
Oh
Crazy.
yeah,
Let's go to our
ridiculous.
next topic. And I hate to the bashing of this one. Diddy allegations and arrest.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
My only
that's another
surprise that it took this long.
Long time coming, right?
Yeah, I
Long
one.
thought he
time
would be
coming.
before Weinstein, to be honest.
Right.
You said it. You
Right.
said it.
Right.
I'm like, once I saw when Epstein got taken down, then Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby, I was sitting back like, all right, where did he at? It's time. Where did he?
Disappointed that it didn't happen during the Me Too movement.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. It's been like 4 or 5 years since the Me Too movement, and
mm-hmm,
here we go. And I'm just disappointed that it had to come to, a black man, that has a lot of power when it comes to, entertainment and media. And it was him, he
mm-hmm.
had a good 90s and 2000, and it was coming to a head.
Oh, of
And
course.
it was inevitable. I think that, when you have such power and you use it for malicious intent is not a great
Right.
thing. So it makes it bad for you. So that's definitely a thing that I gotta say was very disappointing.
Okay.
So I do want to touch on that because the Diddy allegations. What are your thoughts on that, Joe? You want to go first?
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not surprised. The only thing I'm surprised about is that it didn't happen sooner.
Hmm.
Okay. Because this was one of those open secrets in the entertainment or in the music industry. Not even music and entertainment.
Hmm.
And not for nothing, I guarantee you when all is said and done, we're going to hear more names getting dropped. Because do you really think this guy is going to sit in the
So
Metropolitan Correctional Center and
yes,
not start name dropping?
yes, yes.
He's facing
That's the
life in
crazy
prison
part.
on trafficking charges. Do you think he's going to sit there and say, I'm surprised he hasn't done it already. He's probably talking to somebody now saying, listen, I got so and such and his wife. And like, this guy's going to start dropping names like you wouldn't believe. And
Yes.
it's just going to be like a tsunami of people who are going to fall in this whole thing. So like I said, for me, it was never a matter of if, just when.
Mm.
Right. The same here. I'm also surprised it didn't happen sooner. Shoot,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was gonna go down before R. Kelly
Before
and
all
things
of
like
them.
that. Exactly before all of them. I mean, because we've been hearing it for years, years,
Yes.
years. And
Yes.
it always stuck with me what Usher said. And he said this years while he was still young. A Diddy party is not a party that your mama should leave you at. And that stuck with
Mm-hmm.
me for
Mm-hmm.
years.
Yeah, remember when he said that years ago?
He
Mm-hmm.
said that years ago. A Diddy party is not the party
Party
that your
your
mother should
mom should
leave you
leave you
at
at.
13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
it
now,
was some
yeah,
stuff going down in there, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like,
Orlando
I
Brown
shouldn't
don't
have been
sound so
here, bro.
crazy now, does he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, there you go. There you
Exactly.
go. Yep,
Exactly.
there you go.
He's
And
been
Jaguar
saying
Wright,
it.
I don't know.
Jaguar Wright has been saying
Mm-hmm.
it too. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And but with those people, they try to discredit it because of mental health issues that they
Of
have.
Right.
course.
At least they're
Of
honest
course.
about it, that they have the issues that they have. But you think what led to that? Things like this, being in situations where, the scene and the surroundings is not comfortable or safe. So yeah, the Diddy allegations and arrest for me was just like, okay. We all knew this already, so I wasn't
Yeah,
shocked. I wasn't
you're not
surprised. And then
surprised.
you just said, as you both
Right.
None of
said,
us
it's a
are.
matter of time. Um, I don't know why he was so surprised. I don't know why he didn't flee the country. I don't know why he didn't wasn't
Well,
ahead of
remember
it,
he
step
did,
behind it. He did, but then he came
but
right back. He let his
hmm
helicopter, his plane just circle, the country for a minute. And even I think it's now they were tracking it for quite a while, but he just even sent them like on a mission to like, try to figure out exactly, what he was
hmm
doing or what he's up to. But I said at the end of the day, get arrested. Face your charges. This is life, as when you're
yeah,
an adult,
Yeah.
you have to deal with the repercussions of what your actions were. Your actions were
Yeah.
shady and wrong. And it's about time that it came back to slap you in your face. And all of the victims, hopefully they all come, one out, one by one out.
hmm
And those videos that he has, you said it, Joe, when you
Right.
said all the people that's been associated with him, he has recordings. So I mean, it's only a matter of
Oh,
time for that stuff to
absolutely, it's a
be in
matter of
court.
time.
And you notice the list of people that resigned, CEOs,
hmm
corporations,
Yeah.
inks, like
Oh
all of
yeah,
them, they resigned one by one because
politicians.
they knew it
Oh
was
yeah,
coming. They knew that this is coming, and they're going to be on the front line of all of those conversations. Let me resign now, so that way they say the
yeah,
former
Yeah.
CEO, the former VP.
yep.
There's some big names out there. There's a whole list that circulated on Reddit, on Facebook, all the social media sites had it on there.
hmm
I wasn't surprised to see the companies that they were associated with because I'm like, yeah, when
Mhm.
you're in good, when you're highbrow, when you're in those circles, you're gonna bring your people with it because they're like-minded. They're like-minded individuals. Yeah, just like I wasn't surprised when I saw the people on Epstein Island. The very like-minded
Right.
individuals.
Yeah,
Birds of the
yeah.
feather flock together is a statement for a reason.
They do.
So I'm gonna
Right.
lead to this because I know this is a tough one, and this allegation came up very recent. And with daughters heading to that age group, I'm really curious to hear about the Jay-Z allegations. What do you guys
Right.
think about that? The Jay-Z allegations that's now being brought to our attention.
Well, a lot of it, and it's I was just watching the story on it this morning. The young lady who made the allegations, like right now, I think she's in like her mid 30s,
Mhm.
and a lot of what she's saying is getting discredited. Which again, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying some of the things she said aren't true, but you
Right.
know, if not her, I'm sure there's somebody else out there. You know what
Right.
I mean? It's just
Right.
like this young lady came forward and, she started saying what she said. Like she said, her father actually came and picked her up from this party she was at. And the person that drove her to the party has now passed away, so they can't talk to her. And
Oh.
then she was saying that while she was there, like back in during that time, there was a band. The name of the band was called Good Charlotte. Like I
I
listen
remember
to
them.
music from every genre.
Yeah, I
So,
remember them.
you remember Good Charlotte?
Yeah,
Okay.
Right.
absolutely.
So she said that, yeah, I know it was the shit. So she
Mhm.
was saying that at the
Yep.
party, she distinctly remember being at the party because she was talking to the lead singer from Good Charlotte.
Mhm.
But the lead singer came out and said, no, that's impossible. We weren't there because at that particular party she's talking about, he was like, we were on tour. He was like, we were in the Netherlands, and they
Oh.
can actually prove that. So if a lot of things like that are coming out, you know what I mean? That, like a lot of the facts that she said, it's not so. So, it's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah. Can't wait to
Very
see it all
interesting.
unfold. I
Oh,
do
Right.
want to say
absolutely.
that.
Jay-Z, another one, people been making allegations about him for years also. And
Mhm.
another one we just brushed up under the rug because, oh, it's
hmm
Jay-Z, he
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
things like that. So
I do want to point out
Mhm.
the fact that when he first met Beyonce, how old was she? Or how old he was. So, I pay attention. I pay attention to my surroundings and what's being said and how things are
Mhm.
being done. And I noticed that way back when. And my only thought of it was when R. Kelly was mentioned with Aaliyah. I
mhm.
Mhm.
was like, and who is around Beyonce's circle to stop this madness with JC?
Mhm.
When he said bagging the hottest chick in the game, I was like, as since she was 16 years old. Like, you know what I mean? So she was
Mhm.
a babe, dating a grown man. And it's like, why would you
Mhm.
go for prey? And that's how I look at these men that's in this entertainment. A lot of them is for prey. A lot of them is for, I just want something pretty on my arm. And what do you
Yeah.
sacrifice for that? So if you want to sacrifice the rest of your years, and now you have children and daughters that's in that age
Right.
group,
Mhm.
do unto
That's
others
in
as
the
you do for
industry
yourself,
also.
right? That's kind of
Yeah.
sad. It's really sad. How old is Blue Ivy?
12.
And remember,
Right.
and Jay-Z is what, 12, 13 years older than Beyonce?
Yeah, yeah.
And they met like almost 25 years ago or something like that.
Right. Yes. Yes. So you do the math, and then math tells you right there. But we turned a blind eye. A lot of society and a lot of people
Right.
didn't say anything, and we accepted. It's kind of crazy how some things we hush up about in the Black community. We don't talk about molestation. We don't talk about those things. I know well, let me not say molestation. We don't talk about, inappropriate behaviors with people of older ages and things like that. We don't talk about, family secrets. We don't address those type of things. But I wish we were more vocal back
And not
then.
so forgiving.
Yes,
That's
and not
Right.
another
so
problem. I think the
forgiving.
Black
We
community is too
yes,
forgiving.
I
Too
agree.
forgiving.
I agree.
And especially within our own families, we're too forgiving.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, like I remember back when with the whole Bill Cosby thing. First of all, people had knew he was doing this since the '60s.
Yes.
People knew. So when Hannibal Buress said it at a comedy show and people were like clutching their pearls, he was like, "What are y'all surprised about?
Right.
Everybody knows that Bill's been doing this since
Yeah.
the '60s." And
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh, they're bashing because he's black, because he won't do this." And I'm like, bash him because he's black. And Time Magazine did a story where their cover was like a box, a grid of every single one of his accusers. And I'm like, when you look at that grid, look at how many of those women are black.
Right.
So why are we riding so hard for him and not for these black women that are victimized? I don't think this will be the last allegation we hear about Jay-Z.
Hmm.
I think this was just the first one that was just like a failed shot that was fired. But I think, trust me, I think he's going to be one of the major participants in these little freak offs. You know what I
And
mean? And honestly, you know who else I think is coming too? I think we're going to hear some Will Smith stories too.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that one. I'm such a huge fan of him. And I know that
I,
nobody's perfect. I know nobody's perfect, but I always go back to his Fresh Prince era where he was so innocent and
absolutely,
playful and fun
yes.
and goofy. And I love that.
That's how
I
we
love
know
me a
him.
goofy guy that's like, not 100% serious. But, I do understand, like, when
Yeah.
it goes back to me saying, like, I'm disappointed when Black actors and actresses and entertainers can't be themselves and just live and try to strive on their own without having to jump through hoops to please others. So it gives me that whole like mindset of like, man, I wish they didn't get their hands on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and no doubt. Like he like I like him because I love his career and his
Yeah.
upward mobility in his career. He went from being
Mhm.
like I said, the childish funny rapper. Got in had one of the most successful shows on television.
Yes.
Got into Hollywood. Like
Mhm.
I admire his career.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was sorry to see him get kind of, semi-canceled with the whole Chris Rock thing, and then Jada
Right.
Pinkett making him look like an idiot. Like I
Mhm.
felt for the guy, but
Definitely.
Mhm.
Me both.
yeah, but I see. I think his name is going to be one of the ones that's going to pop up too. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
Um, I was hoping that the whole brunt of the smack thing, I was hoping that was a play. Because if you watch the movie, and I know we've all seen that clip from that movie where they basically walk up to the actor on stage and they slap them, and then they go back to their seat and mock them a little bit. And I'm like, oh, hopefully it was just a little skit. I was
Right.
immediately when I thought, I was like, maybe they just fooling around and there's a little skit. Because who would
We
do
all thought it was at first.
yeah, and I was like, whenever it
Yeah.
turned serious and it was like it hit the news and the media and he was getting punished for it, I was just like,
Mhm.
oh, that was real. Like, I was so in my
Right.
mind naive about the
He was like,
situation.
"Oh
Because
snap!"
I put that, Will Smith. I'm like, oh, he's on a pedestal to me. Like, he can't do no wrong. But then I felt
Right.
that slap was real, and he really did that to Chris Rock. That was devastating to me to hear that. That was actually something that I left off my list, but it definitely should have been added to the list because it was nonsense. And I was like, why? Why did we go in there and show our asses? We supposed to be dignified, it's like when you perform and you act out when your mom take you somewhere. They're like, now they
Right.
go
Hmm.
back to the car and get a popping, okay?
Yep, exactly.
Right.
Yep. Oh, you wait till
Right.
we get outside.
Showing off on the black folks like this. This don't make no sense.
Wait till I get your behind outside.
Yeah, exactly. You
Right.
wait till you get
You
outside, right?
know?
So I was disappointed in that, but I can only hope it doesn't. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Holly Weird is Holly Weird, so
It
go
is.
figure.
It is.
I do want to touch on a current relationship. This has just recently happened in the last week. We're gonna go into some papoose, Remy Ma and Clarissa Shields, and I mean, what a disaster and a mess there. Side chick became main chick to main chick, and wife and husband debacle. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I
Sure.
just heard about this
Oh,
literally
Joe.
Friday. I'm sorry. Oh,
No,
no,
go,
no. I'm
Joe,
sorry.
please. Go ahead.
No, I just heard about this Friday because I remember hearing like a while back that Remy Ma was kind of out there on my boy. Like she was out there doing her thing, kind of
Crazy.
making him look. I remember hearing that like months ago, years ago.
Right, yeah.
And to hear and because one of the kids that worked under me now, he was like, "Oh yeah, Papoose smashing Clarissa Shields." I was like, "Wait, what?" And he was like, "Yeah, she beefing with Remy Ma." I'm like, first of all, that is not a beef. That is not a beef. That's like an ant trying to beef with a boot. You just you can't.
You can't win. You're not
Yeah,
gonna win.
no, she's not beefing with her. She and I just like Clarissa Shields. Yeah, no, that's not even a beef.
Okay, I'm gonna hand him to her. I be like, you can have him. Thank you very much, ma'am. And I was
Yeah,
going about
listen,
And I'm
yeah,
going
I'm
about my
I'm just
business.
gonna walk off.
Because
Yeah,
I'm already doing my thing on the side anyway. So I'm gonna just let
yeah,
you have that, and
yeah.
I'm gonna leave that whole situation go, and I'm gonna let the cards fall where the cards fall, or whatever.
Think
Whether
that they took it to social media. I just wish they
right,
didn't have to take it to the public.
right,
Like, do whatever you do behind
yeah,
closed doors. We heard the rumors. Shh,
right,
let's not speak on them. And you go do whatever you want to do, but do it in peace and divorce and just be rid of it. But neither one of them want a divorce. He said he asked for one. She said no. She said she asked for one. He said no. Like, it's like, is it just toxic relationship? And I don't know
right.
what it is about Black people once they get married. And I blame our whole community for this. Our mamas and daddies, man, you don't want to pay the rent alone. We don't want to pay them bills by ourselves. But we stick in we stay in these toxic relationships just for like, oh, because of the
yeah,
kids, or
yeah,
because of these bills, or because of these other reasons. But it's like at the end of the day, just break it off and just go about your mind, your way in peace. Like, people, please, like,
And
oh,
that's all it's
why?
about. Go about your way in peace. Let's be
Yeah,
peaceful about this. Let's, like I said,
just
let the
live.
cards
Yeah,
fall when they fall, or whatever. If it was meant for us to be back together, then we will come back together. I put them in the category with not in the same category, but Katt Williams brought the new year in with the bang, and they bringing it out with a boom
yeah,
with their
pretty much.
messiness. I'm like, oh
oh,
my
they
god!
really are. They really are. They really bringing it out with a boom, and it's like, what in the
It's like
world?
let's end off the year with what? Let's end this year off like this. Katt Williams brought it in. We gonna take it out
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Like,
But yeah,
I
it's
just
just
wish
Um,
that they was that image that we all portrayed them to be. I wish they was still that same image. Everybody loved Papoose because he the Russell Wilson and this and that and that and this and she
Yeah,
got a
but there's
good
some
man.
things. There's some things that's being released now that I'm like, wow. I
Right,
call into question his actions because while she was away and
right,
supposedly in jail, I'm going to say allegations. These alleged allegations that he was physically abusive with her. One, and that's why she ran to the other guy. Two, and then the things that when she was away, she found out after the fact. After checking his phone and looking through his phone, which I think anytime you got to go through somebody's phone alone, that's cause for relieving anyway, and just parting
right,
ways.
that's not
If
somebody
not,
you
you
need to
guys,
be
if
with.
you're sensing something wrong, you sensing something's an issue. You got to go through his phone and find out all this stuff that he was doing while you was away, as well as when you got out. You know what? That was the reason to file for divorce then and not retaliate and act out. But yeah, she could have just parted ways with him. She could have just left. So
right,
I kind of say, I wish it was a Black love story, but I felt the same way
right,
about Will and Jada, as well as I do as Beyonce and Jay-Z, as I hear all of this stuff and news swarm. I love to watch Black love, but let it be right Black love. Let it be a
right,
positive Black love story. Not this turmoil that we're hearing, all of this mess behind it. But I do want to
Yeah, I
say,
know.
Clarissa Shields, I wouldn't fight for somebody that's legally married when you get into a relationship with them. That lets you know if they cheat on them, they could definitely cheat on you.
he's on
I don't
you.
know why women go into these
Yep.
relationships. That's my man. And I'm like, no, he's not, girl. He's that man, that
Yeah.
woman's husband. Like, you don't. I would say it to anybody. I'm like, regardless of who the cheater or cheaty is, regardless who cheating, man or woman, it's just a repeated story. It's just a change of
Right.
names. Do not put yourself in that situation. Make yourself a permanent fixture in those individuals' life because clearly they don't have the loyalty to the person that they originally married. So they sure as hell ain't gonna have no loyalty to you. That's just my thoughts on it, and that's how I'm gonna speak on it. That's how I look at it. So yes.
Agreed.
And that's the
Any
bottom
further
line.
thoughts on them?
That's just it.
Just watch how
I
this
want to
plays
tell
out.
Remy run because that girl got hands. I'm sorry, run girl. She was
Oh
an
boy,
Olympic.
does
She's
she?
another
He's a
person.
mixed
I'm like,
mixed martial arts.
yes.
And Bob
Yes. And not for
have at
nothing,
it.
I've seen her at an event and I wasn't that far away from her. That's a big, people don't realize how big she is.
Right.
Like she's tall and she's just like, it's just muscles everywhere. Like that girl is built like a freaking goddess. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
I was
believe it.
scared.
Right.
Who's like females, and I'm about to say bitches. Why who's like females that has that dominant appearance? Because
Yeah.
even Remy Ma, think about it, what she went to jail for. I'm sorry, Remy, to say it, but she went to jail for
But they
stabbing
shooting
somebody who took
people.
my money.
No, she shot the girl.
Yeah. Oh, she
Right.
shot her.
Yeah, she
That's
shot
even
the girl
better.
in the
She
stomach.
shot
Yeah.
her, outside in the street fighting with another woman. Like that.
Like,
Man,
bro.
why do you like these females that's so aggressive? He needs some counseling or something, Papoose. Get some help.
Yeah,
Get
bro. Like, oh man, you need to fall back, bro.
Yeah. Work
Get
on
some
yourself.
Yes, get some help.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
needs
He needs to work on himself.
Work on
it.
yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's world, I don't know. A lot of these men love the toxicness. They loving it. That's just like the saying, a good girl loves a bad boy. And he that good man who loves a bad girl. If that's how you want to put it, him as a good. And it's just like, brother, yeah, work on yourself.
Yeah, he needs some help. He need a hug. So thank you guys for joining us for the Grown Up Group. This is a podcast of regular people. Thank you for joining us for our segments for 2024. We loved it from our very first video where we discussed mental health all the way to today, a wrap up of 2023 to 24. You guys joined us for another year, so we thank you for that. Kira, I know, is one of our original members from the very start. And then Joe joining in and taking over the ranks where other people dropped off. I'm very appreciative of you guys and much love. Merry Christmas and then Happy New Year and all of that fun stuff. We got good things to come in 2025. Please join us for our future segments. We got great topics to discuss. Trust me, we do not disappoint in our topics. We may throw some stories in there as well. So we'll be looking forward to you guys actually joining us in 2025. Kira, you want to say anything to the people?
Thank you, guys. Happy New Year. Enjoy your holidays.
Yes, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Follow us, Grown Up Group. Bye.